Hey guys, it's Laurel. Today is Saturday, June 3rd, and this is FLOSSTUBE number 17. I always have to look because I don't remember. So glad to have y'all back. If you're returning, if you're brand new, glad you stumbled upon me for whatever reason. Hope you enjoy what you see. So I'll just start real fast because it'll take 2 seconds. Life updates, nothing crazy has happened, nothing really too much to speak for. Our life is simple and we like it that way. So we go to work, we go to church, we come home, we enjoy each other, and that's just kind of what we've been doing over the last couple weeks. Last Saturday, my husband took me to Madison to a quilt store that's there. I'd been one time before. He had not been with me, so he took me up there and we found some goodies, and I'll show you those later on in the quilting section. And then Sunday, shocker, I feel like I say this in every video, since I went out Saturday, Sunday, I did go to church Sunday morning, and then I came home and the allergies kicked in, I guess, from being out Saturday. I laid on the couch and didn't move till Monday morning. Monday, Memorial Day, we didn't do much anything. We just kind of laid around and rested. I normally get my Patriotic decorations out on Memorial Day. I didn't really feel like it. I wasn't up to it, even though I love them, and I still have not gotten that done. So I'm just, today I'm still a little chugged up. I had lunch with some friends outside yesterday. Maybe not a great idea for me. So I hope I'm not sniffly, coffee, all that aggravating stuff through my video. So that's, like I said, super boring week, just like how we like it. So I'm going to start. I have a lot of stuff I feel like to show you today, so I'm going to try to have some sense of order for it, but I can't really guarantee that because I'm not the most organized person ever. I will say I have, over the last few weeks, I've been just picking little corners in my sewing room and kind of reorganizing just to see what I got going on in here, so I can have a little. My cross stitch is fairly organized, my quilting not so much, so I'm trying to get that a little bit organized, which is kind of funny because Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo, is doing a June challenge to clean your sewing room. So I was like, oh, I'm already ahead. Like, it's pretty much clean. I have one little horrible wall over here that is straightened up, and I have started, this morning I did a little more organization with some of my quilt patterns, going through some stuff. So I got one little bin left to go through, and then, I'm pretty much as clean as I'm going to get. I'm not a super clean person in here, but I'm the only one that comes in here, so it's okay. So I want to start, as always, if you're new, I do cross stitch first, and then I do quilting. So hope you'll stay for both, but I'm going to start with the cross stitch. I'm going to show you where I ended for my Mania. And again, I was doing Brenda Gervais for my Mania pieces. I'm not sure if I worked on this any since my last video, and I didn't go back and look, so I'll just show you where I am, just in case. Caroline Amelia Trowell, which I love. Super fantastic chart. Her charts are so great to read. They're very clear and easy, just the way she graphs them with her symbols and colors and everything. It makes my old eyes very happy, so if anybody sees Brenda Gervais, because I'm sure she doesn't watch this, please tell her. Her charts are fabulous. But this is where I am, and this may be where I was in the last video. Like I said, sorry, I don't think I worked on it anymore. I still am at the same place with the first two pieces of hers, but they're little ones, so I'm going to get them out, kind of work them into rotation over the next couple weeks to see if I can get a little progress on those. But I got all kinds of plans floating around my head for things that I want to do. The last piece that I worked on for Mania was Rejoice Evermore. And if you remember, I talked about it in my last video that the fabric I had purchased for this, it was going to be a little too tight. Like I went a little bit, you know, did the green down to one side, and it was just going to be too tight to be able to frame it, because it is a piece that I'm going to have framed. So I wanted to make sure I had ample room. So I did pull that out and restarted the piece. So I originally was doing it on a white, and I switched to an antique white when I restarted it. Sorry. And this is where I am. I had wanted to get that that big flower finished, but I just didn't. But you know, I wasn't trying to stress myself out over it. I was just trying to you know, have a good time with my stitching, and I did. I really enjoy stitching this piece. I'm excited to have this one started finally, because I've had it for a pretty good while and just never did start. But again, you know, there's lots of people stitching this right now, and it's got me a little motivated. So that's my mania. So I wound up stitching on 4 pieces for Brenda Gervais. The last few days of the month, I had intended on just choosing one of those pieces to work on, but I didn't, because that would be silly if I did such a thing. So I was really missing, I talked in the last video, I was missing working on my whips that I had been working on. So I decided that I would pull this one back out and just work on it, see how far I could get in the 3 days, and I got it finished. It is Love Sampler by Artful Offerings, and I just love it. It is so pretty, and it's been so fun to work on. I'm doing it on Lugana. I did measure my piece because I wasn't sure what count I was using, whether it was 25 or 28. I think it started as 28, and when I coffee tea dyed it, it shrank some. So now the measurements read more like 30 count. So, you know, it's not an exact size, but that's okay, because it's just going to get framed. But I do really like this piece, and I may at some point just stitch the love portion again, maybe on a higher count, and make it into a pillow. I thought that would be really cute. But there's the pattern, and here's my piece. I finished it this morning, and I had posted on my Instagram. One of the girls this morning, the dogs, she just was not gonna let me stitch. I got up, and Saturday morning's fairly quiet in the house, so I like to do a little bit of stitching Saturday morning, and I had it out, and she was determined. It was like, put a stitch in, hold her hand, or her paw. Put a stitch in, hold her paw. Because I would do a stitch, and she'd be like, hey, I'm here. So I posted a picture this morning on my Instagram if you want to see the little fur baby, or the big fur baby, helping me this morning with my stitching. But I was able to finally get it done. I just had like 4 letters left this morning. I got tired last night and just had to go to sleep. But I finished it up this morning, and I'm super tickled with how it turned out. It's very, 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 very pretty, and exactly what I wanted it to look like. So that makes me happy. And this is what I had been using. I joined the Sabbath Day Stitchers on Facebook, and this is what I had been using as my piece. So I will show you in plans what my replacement piece will be. But I'm excited to have that done. And I watched the last video back. I said excited like 87 times. But again, today I'm excited, so that's where we are. So that's all the actual stitching that I did. Again, I was down for a couple days with all this nasally stuff aggravating. But hopefully I'll be a little more productive over the next couple weeks. You will be shocked to know I did not buy a single cross-stitch chart in the last 2 weeks. It's the first time since I've been making videos I just haven't bought one. I have not been to my LNS, and I had talked last time, I do plan on buying that Liz Matthews chart next time I go, but I haven't gotten there. You know, we had gone to that quilt shop last weekend. I just didn't make it there. I did order some floss. Thank you, Pam. She told me about a sale that was going on with Weeks Dye Works, and I did order, I don't have it right here handy, but I did order my floss to do a Tisket, a Tasket, the Rosewood Manor piece. And this morning I finished watching Sarah's Stitchy Spot, and she showed her progress on that, and it really makes me want to get that out and work on it. It's a big piece, and I really like it, but I got a lot going on, so I got to kind of see. But I'll talk again in plans about some big pieces. Hold on. Sorry, I had to get my nose. All right, so obviously my focus for last month would have been Mania. What would have been drawn was Floral Motif Sampler. So I'm going to have to find another month to kind of work that in somewhere. This coming month's focus piece is kind of funny because the process I used, the number that they pulled, was one of my Whipco pieces from last month. So that was kind of funny. But my focus piece for this month is Quaker Pumpkins. And I know some of you probably think it's crazy to be stitching fall in June, but it really doesn't bother me. I here lately I seem to always have some kind of Patriotic something going on, so I'll be stitching Patriotic too. But I enjoy this piece and I like it, so this will be my focus piece. And again, I'm using the alternate wording down here. It will say, I think Autumn Blessings is what it says. So, and this looks just like it did last time I showed it to you, but I'll flash it real fast. It's on a piece of 16 count. Yeah, 16 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed. So, hopefully I'll get some progress on that to show you. So that will be, again, this month's focus piece in cross stitch. I also do Whipco, and the way I do Whipco is the pieces that I have on my board through the month, I just try to work on them an hour a piece, and that just lets me know if I'm still in love with that piece and I want to keep it as a project that I'm working on. So this month's numbers, the first one is, I'm not sure exactly what this is called. It is a Pine Needles Designs. It was a freebie that she did a couple years ago. Is it on here? I think it's called Christmas Boxes. Yes, Christmas Boxes Stitch Along. And it is no longer free, but I think she does have it for sale on her website, and that's Pine Needles. So, and I'm sorry, I looked at it right before I started this video, and it is so wrinkled. I am not using called for colors. I'm just pulling colors from my stash from DMC. And what she had done is every month you get, or when she was doing the stitch along, you got one little block. So obviously I got to the end, I was super behind. I was just trying to do whatever color I had on my needle. So it should already be done, but you know how you're all about something and then you're not all about something because something else came along. So we'll see what that turns into. I mean, if I really get all into it, I mean, I could finish it, but I'm not going to say I'm going to do that because I won't finish in an hour, but I'll at least know that I want to work on it. The second Whipco number that was drawn, and again, don't really need to work on this to know that I'm still in love with it, but I'm happy that it got pulled so that I will give it some time. Hannah Hetherington. This piece I have already done. You can't see it, but it's in that frame right there. And I've shown it before in a video. This is the piece that I'm doing. I am doing this on linen. It's the only thing I'm currently stitching on Linda. Oh my word. On linen. This is where I am. And I taught, it's 32 count, I think it's cocoa, and I'm doing 1 stitch over 2. And my flower piece is a little bit ghosty, but you know, I'm okay with it. Like I said before, I love this piece so much. So much. And I can't stitch on it. There's only certain times a day that I can stitch on it because I need the natural lighting on top of the artificial lighting that I have. So, you know, it sits next to my chair. I mean, it's been sitting there for a while, my stitchy chair. And I just work on it, you know, when the mood strikes me or whatever. But it'll get a full hour this month, maybe more, you know, depending. So, but I'm excited about that. So I do have some plans coming up. I want to go ahead and talk about plans. I was watching the New Hampshire Stitcher. I think that's right. She's fabulous. Everybody loves her. If you have watched her, you love her. And she was discussing, she is going to start a SAL in September. And it's the BAP to school SAL. BAP, depending on, you know, what term you want to use, I will call them a big, amazing project. And it was the, you know, idea that, you know, we all have these big projects and you should just start one or work on the one that you're currently working on. And that's going to be her SAL, which I thought was genius. And also, if you have not watched her last video, it is really good. She has a new segment where she puts her whips on trial to see if they are going to make the cut, if there's something that's going to change, whatever it is that bothers her about the whip or has stalled her on the whip. And then she asks for, you know, input on that. And I thought that was really cute. It was a cute little session. And she has amazing stuff that she shows too. So, you know, you should watch her if you don't. My plans, stitching plans coming up. So I will have I showed you my focus piece. I showed you my 2 whip go pieces. I am, Pam and I decided on our Star Out of the Teresa Kogut book, we're going to do this one. I am a slacker and I don't have my threads yet. So I'm going to get those this week so I can get started on that, but it's so cute. So that will be one that I will be starting. Sherry, Colorado Cross Stitcher, is doing her stitch camp. The first challenge for June is to stitch something with a bird in it. So I went looking for my chart last night that I wanted to do. I don't even own it. It's one that I've like had in my cart like a ridiculous amount of times. I don't own it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to buy it right now just for the sake of starting it. So I looked through my current like to be started projects and I found one that has birds in it that I've been dying to start. So I'm going to start White Winter Moth for my June stitch camp project. There's a bird and there's a bird. And I love this. The Seattle stitch words just won't come out of my mouth today. They will not come out of my mouth. But the Seattle Stitcher is stitching this, and hers is really pretty. Oh, it's really pretty. So I have all the floss. I just have to pull a piece of fabric, and I know I've got something here that I can do it on. So this will be my start for stitch camp. And then this will be my piece that I am going to do for my new Sabbath Day stitch. And I talked about this a couple of videos ago. Though he seems sleeping. I saw this on Antique Needle Workers, Liz and Shelley. One of them, I think, purchased it. I don't think they showed their progress on it. I can't remember exactly. It's been a little while ago, but there is a hashtag for this, and if you go in and look, there are some beautiful, beautiful pieces. It has several different thread conversions listed within. I think that I am going to do, let me see if I can find the picture. I think that I am going to do the DMC conversion because I saw someone post theirs, and this is not a very good screenshot, but she did it on a vintage Stormy Night Lugana 32 count, so I think I'm going to try to find some of that, but I don't know if you can, there's a glare. That might be a little better, I'm not sure. But it is, I really like that. And it's, she said she used DMC. So like I said, I'm going to order some of that fabric. And this will become my new Sabbath day stitch. And that's, you know, kind of loose. I'm not like exclusively working on this on Sundays. It will be a piece that I try to put some stitches into. But I'm not going to not stitch other stuff if the mood strikes me. You know, through the week is I want to stay on my focus piece, but on the weekend that's kind of my free stitch time for what I want to do. Now I do have 2 fully finished pieces that I am so excited again about. I have shown these on my Instagram, so you may have already seen them if you follow me over there. The first piece is American Sampler House by Annie B's Folk Art. I love her charts. Like, she just, I don't know what it is about her, but I just love everything that she does. So here's my piece. It is called for flosses. It is not the called for fabric. I had a piece of, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a Lugana. And it is lighter than the called for, so some of my cream stars don't really like pop out, but I don't care. I mean, it is just so pretty. And I'm sorry, it's a bad time of day again, so I got a little glare, but that house was so much fun to stitch. So much fun. I love that flag. Like, I love everything about this. And you know, it's little. You wouldn't have to frame it. You could do like a mat board finish or something if you wanted to, but I really wanted it framed. I want to hang this over here in my sewing room on the wall, and this will stay out all year. This is not only coming out, you know, in Patriotic season. I think Americana is year round, so if I have an Americana piece and I like it, it's just staying out. So this is one of those. And again, American Sampler House, Annie B's Folk Art. My next finish, I have been working on a ridiculous amount of time. Ridiculous. I looked up, I said it in one of the last videos, I started it a couple Christmases ago. Ridiculous. But it's done and it's beautiful. Lincoln's Eagle by Teresa Kogut. It is just stunning. I love her Americana stuff. Love, love, love. I got both these framed at Hobby Lobby. If you're local here with me, I'm in Liberty, North Carolina. We go to the Hobby Lobby in Asheboro. They do a great job. The frame has just little touches of gold in it, and the scroll. And I'm not sure, but I think this is very similar to the frame that Jennifer, the calculated stitcher, used when she framed Hannah Hetherington. Or it looks very similar in my mind. So if and when I get that one done, I would like to use this same frame for that. So if you are thinking about stitching this, you should. It is great. Her new piece mimics this eagle, and it has a couple other little like pieces, one of her new releases. And even though I've already stitched this eagle, I think I want to do that one too. So pretty. So that's what I have for cross stitch today. I'm sorry to keep going out of frame, but I just got stuff everywhere today. So, but that's what I have. I am going to, maybe by next video, I will try to have my choices for the back to school sale. I do in my mind have a couple pieces that would qualify for that. That would qualify, like there's rules, that are contenders in my mind for that. So I'm going to try to kind of whittle that down to maybe 2 or 3 choices, and maybe y'all can help me pick what that's going to be. I am also this month going to try to get back to putting 1 thread a night into my pandemic sampler. Again, I was watching Sarah Stitchy Spot, and she has come along great on hers. Every time I see somebody get it finished, I'm just like, oh, I've got to get that back out, because it is just a beautiful piece. Beautiful, beautiful. So I may even, maybe tonight, I'll start with that. I know that I'm kind of, I mean, it's only the 3rd, but I normally don't start my monthly cross stitch things necessarily on the very first day of the month. I work in accounting, so in my world, yesterday we were still working on May. So I feel like I'm officially in June now, so I can kind of get started on my June stuff. So, but I'd love to know if you are stitching on anything that I am. You know, drop a comment down below. Let me know. I'd like to know your thoughts on, you know, what I'm stitching, if it's something you're interested in. If there's any new, like, stitch alongs and stuff that have anything to do with, I know they're doing Red, White, and June, Fat Quarter Shop is, for 4th of July. So, like I said, I have the Teresa Kogut that I'm going to get started on when I get my threads and stuff. So I may use that kind of with that hashtag. But, you know, I just love being able to go on social media and just see all the color changes and the differences that everybody's doing on their pieces. I just think each one makes them unique, and I really like that. So, but that's, again, what I have for cross stitch. I'm going to move on to quilting now, and I know that not everyone is a quilter, but I will say I see a lot of floss tubers that have quilts in the background, and some of them have separate videos where they talk about quilting, and some of them don't talk about it at all. So if you're a floss tuber and you have that quilt in your background, like, next floss tube, like, give us a little information. We'd love to know. We'd love to see those things. So on to quilting. So I have gotten a little more done in my quilting world in this past 2 weeks than I have in the 2 weeks prior to that, because I did a terrible job. I didn't get very much done. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I told a story. Karen, I did not get swoon cut out, but I started. It's back here, right here, cutting it out. So I have started. My goal was to have it cut out by today, but I just couldn't get it done. So I did work on my Scraps of Kindness quilt along with Kim Deal. I am doing this through Fat Quarter Shop. That's who I ordered it from. So I still have 2 months that are not done, and I counted up the blocks this morning for what was in them. So I think that next month will be the finishing set for that. So I'll just show you real fast, because I know they probably all start to look alike to you after a while, but they really are all different. There's 2 of each block in different colorways. I love the spools. I've got several spool patterns for quilts that I want to do. I did come across, when I was cleaning up, an old Make-A-Wish pattern that Fat Quarter Shop had done that is spool themed, and I want to start it too. So, but I'm gonna try to. I'm never gonna be caught up on all my quilt alongs because that's just not me. I seem to always fall a little bit behind, but you know, they eventually get done, and it's fine. So I worked on that one. I finished binding my laundry basket quilt applique that I started. I am so embarrassed to tell you this. I started this in 2013. 2013. I started it in 2013. I finished piecing it in 2017. I got it quilted last year, and I just got the binding on it. Now, pros and cons of dragging your feet on stuff and having multiple projects going on. Again, you are like, why is it taking me so long to finish this? But when you have so many things going on, sometimes you just wind up with a span of time where you have a ton of stuff finished at one time, and it makes you feel like super great about stuff. I'm not really having that moment where I have tons of stuff finished, but this one's finished, and it makes me very happy because it is so beautiful. Now my dilemma is I need to find somewhere in my house that I can display it because I don't have any more wall space in here. I could put it back here, but it's a little bit narrower, and I really, really like this quilt up here. So I've been talking to myself about changing that quilt out, but we'll just kind of see how that goes. But this is, this was a block of the month. The pieces came prepared for fusible applique. When I started this, I think this is probably the first applique thing I attempted that has actually turned into something. But here's the quilt. I had shown this back in one of my beginning videos. I don't know, third or fourth video maybe. I had shown this because I did have this custom quilted. Sorry, I hope all that noise isn't coming across where I'm scrolling it up. But I did have it custom quilted because I felt like this quilt design needed that. So I'll try to zoom in where you can see a little bit of the quilting. The lady that did the quilting, her name is Gina Boone. And if you look her up, she's on Facebook. Ooh, about to tip my chair over. She is on Facebook. If you look up Gina Boone Quilting, she's fabulous. She got it back to me really fast. She's a super nice lady. I had not met her or used her before this quilt, but a friend recommended her. And I have to say, she just did an amazing job. So, maybe I'll switch out the ladder maybe and put it up there with my turtles. It's also an applique quilt. But very pleased with how that one turned out. So, since I was feeling so spunky with myself that I was, getting that done, I have another quilt that I sent, and this was off my UFO list. I have another quilt that I sent out to my other quilter to have done. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I don't have binding on it yet, but I'll show you a little tease. And again, you've seen this quilt top in another video. It just wasn't quilted yet. But I will try to have it bound by the next video so that I can show it off. But here's your little tease. Okay. So, just to entice you, just to see if you'll come back next time to see if I got it done. But that one will be hopefully bound by the next video. I talked in the last video about a quilt book that I wanted to get. And when I looked, you can actually, the quilt is Quilt Recipes by Jen Kingwell. And there's actually a template set that goes with the book that I really want to get to. So I decided I have 4 quilts right here that they're quilted. They need binding. I have that one that I just teased you with that needs binding. I have a lot of quilts over here on my rack that need to be sent out to be quilted. When I get caught up on my binding, whether that be I have 2 more quilted before I get these done and I got to add them to the stack, but when I'm caught up on my binding for however many I have quilted at that time, I'm going to reward myself and I'm going to buy that. So that's going to give me a little motivation to get my binding done. And I love binding. I'm not one of those people that is upset about binding. I really enjoy it. I just am really backlogged because I got a little crazy with what I was sending out to my long arm quilter. But I like it because, I am very motivated by the hashtag, Penny's Daughter Shares and Jen Quilter from Two Tall Stitchers are doing the FFO Challenge 2023, or maybe it's different order in there. But anyway, they are hosting that, and there are lots of people finishing their stuff. It's really become a thing and really motivated a lot of people to finish some things. So I have been on a pretty good trek with getting my cross stitch quilted, my cross stitch framed, and I want to now kind of concentrate a little bit, still mingle in some of my cross stitch pieces, but I want to mingle in some of my quilting too, so that I can continue to keep that going and cycle through, because there is an infinite amount of quilt patterns and fabric that I own that I want to become beautiful things. So that's kind of a plan. I will say, in my cleaning out process, I counted how many quilt tops I have that are not quilted, and it's a lot. I then counted how many quilts I had in my house. It's a lot. And it didn't deter me at all from buying more stuff and making more quilts at all, ever, because I love it. So that's kind of where I am with that. And I feel like I am super babbly today, and I'm sorry, but I'm excited about everything. I want to cross stitch everything. I want to quilt everything. I want to do it all like right now. Something about having to go to work every day is just deterring me a little bit. But anyway, so I'm a little out of order with how I normally do things, but I have a little bit of haul. Well, maybe a lot of haul. I don't know. I did get my mini charm square club pack yesterday. Maybe it came. It has in it, this is Moda Peeps by Alina Hoy. I don't know. Those are cute. I like those. And I do like this. I mean, I've got a ton, and I don't know what all I'm going to make with all these, but I like it that you get just a little taste. So then, excuse me, if you want to buy it. This is Sunnyside by Camille Ross Kelly. And all her stuff, obviously, is beautiful. I got to disappear again because I dropped my pack. This is Union Square by Minnikin Simpson. How can you not love Minnikin Simpson is all I'm going to say. Look at that. That makes me very happy. I would love to have like a fat quarter bundle or a half yard bundle of that. Oh, that's stunning. And one more, and I'm sorry I didn't take these out of the pack before. This one is Sugarberry by Bunny Hill Designs. I like Bunny Hill Designs too. Nice, soft, feminine. Oh, okay. And just because I was, on there searching, I'm always looking right now for stuff to do with the mini charm squares. I did go on Fat Quarter Shop's free pattern tab because I don't know why you wouldn't always start with some free patterns just to see what they have. And they have this, it's called Mini Charm Chocolates Quilt Pattern. I'll just show you. Which is super cute, right? It finishes at 30.5 by 38.5. So, it's a quick little finish. It's tiny. But just, sometimes you need something little so you can feel accomplished. It actually takes 3 mini charm square packs, and I feel like with all of them that I've acquired through doing this club, I'm sure I have 3 that coordinate in some form or fashion that I could do something with that. So I do, maybe I'll get that started. I don't know. I have so many things started in quilting, and my little friend group of quilters, one of my friends, she had sent another like block of the month type quilt along mystery quilt to us in the group chat, and I was like, oh, it's so tempting. Like I just I have a hard time saying no, but I'm gonna have to hold off on that one just for a little bit. I might have to live through her, but most of the mystery quilt along type things, normally after these quilt shops and stuff have finished up with that, normally they will offer it up for purchase. So if it's something I really like, then hopefully I'll be able to go on there and purchase the pattern later. So now I want to show you what I got at the quilt shop last week when we went. And again, it's a quilt shop in Madison, North Carolina. It's called Stitch Party. It's a husband and wife that run it, and they are super nice. I've been in there, like I said, this was my second trip there. All my friends that I go to camp with, out of the dozen or so of us, like a lot of them have been and really like them. Like they do classes. They're just really, really nice people and very helpful when you go in the shop. So while I was there, I got some patterns. I got little llamas, which I didn't even know existed. A friend of mine did the big llama quilt by Elizabeth Hartman and brought it to camp last time. It was really cute. I just like this. And I'm not like a llama person, but it's adorable. So I needed it, so I bought it. And a funny thing this morning, also, I've been watching a lot of FLOSSTUBE and YouTube this morning. Pages and Stitches. She does a one cross-stitch video a month, she said, and one quilting video. In her quilting video, she had purchased this one. And she is like a llama fan, so if you don't watch her, she's a good one to watch, and she will probably be starting that, I would think, soon, being that she likes them so much. I also bought this one. It's called The Blues by Lavender Lime. I hadn't heard of them before. It uses, I will not butcher this line of fabric right here, TOCHI. She had some of the fabric there, which I may, if she still has some, I may buy some when we go back. The fabric line is really pretty. But obviously, I love this type, blue and white. So, not the same pattern, but similar. But I like that. And it uses like primarily half yard cuts. So if you have, half yard bundle or something, this will make a pretty quilt. This one, I bought this one because of the model that was there. And I know sometimes when you're new to quilting, or, and maybe not even new, just you're very used to, and sometimes it's hard to visualize the quilt in a different color. So this is the pattern, Star Baby by Quiltworks. Now, if I just saw this hanging there, there is nothing about that tells me I need to buy it. Nothing. I mean, I love a star quilt. I mean, I just think you can't go wrong with a star quilt. They're super pretty. But this is the, and again, I hope this doesn't glare too much. This is the model they had up at the store. Doesn't talk to me at all. Screams at me. Buy me. You need to make this. And it's little. And it's paper piecing. I love paper piecing, so I have, no quandary with that at all. I do have, the model was made with batiks. They didn't obviously have those batiks because the model had been made like a while back from the instructor's stash. They're doing the class there. But I do intend to do this similar to those colors and do it in red, white, and blue. because you can never have too many red, white, and blue quilts. Never, never, never. So, excited about this one. I also bought some Patriotic prints. They were having a sale. I have a pattern that I'm going to show you here in a few minutes that these are the start of the purchases for. But that one is really cool. I really like that. And then I got the star. And then this just has like some little confetti, blue and white dots. While I was there, we were standing at the cutting counter talking to the nice lady that worked there. She was cutting our fabric. And in the bin next to her, they had these little, it's called a quilt sponge. I was going to look this up before I started the video and I forgot, so I don't know if this is something still available. The packaging looks a little aged, so I don't know if these are still available, but this is the package that was in. So, Aunt Pam's Closet.net. But this is what it is. So this is like my little nerd note item. It's like a little sponge. And what it's for is when you are cutting on your cutting mat, especially like if you're just trimming the, squaring up something, you just get that little bit of thread. Sometimes it's hard to wipe that off your board. I, in the past, have used like, scraps of batting. Works real good for that. I mean, you can get it off with your hand, but it takes a little bit. This is really great. I mean, you like rub it over at one time, it picks it up, and then you just brush it off in the trash. And it stays clean. I've been using this all week, and it stays clean. So, I don't know. I'm all about the little, like, gadgets and everything. I just like it. So it was $4. So, but just a neat little thing. And side note for that shop, I love it when you purchase your items, they put it in a little bag with a handle, and they always tie the handle up with a scrap of fabric. So you always come back with a little scrap of fabric to put in your stash. I thought that was cool. All right. So also in last video, I had talked about Tula Pink and English paper piecing. And I told you there was a pattern that I was going to buy, or a set, because it wasn't super expensive. I think it was, Fat Quarter Shop, it was like $35-ish. I got to take the pattern out because I put it back in here backwards. Oh my goodness. This is what it looks like. Tula Nova. Now she has a new English paper piecing pattern out called like Queen of Diamonds, maybe something like that. And a lot of shops are doing like sew-alongs and everything with it, and it is a beautiful, beautiful quilt. But it's a little pricey because it's brand new. So, and I'd already seen this one and had kind of a plan in mind. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this one and just admire everybody else's. Now, when she did hers, I saw a video where she was discussing, like an older video when this was new, and she was discussing how, she just pretty much just drew each color out, like through the stars. Her stars are the same color coming out. So it comes with a coloring page in it, and I'll show you. I started coloring mine for how I have visualized what I want to do with it. But I just want to show you, like, it comes with all the pieces. That's a lot of pieces. And they're, depending on how you prep them and everything, you can reuse these. So, it's not a bad price. And this isn't super giant. It finishes 56 by 56. So, I haven't started collecting the fabric for this yet, but I do have white, which is what my plan is to do the stars in. So I can go ahead and start prepping my stars and sewing them together. This is kind of how I want to do it. When I saw it, I instantly thought red, white, and blue because that is so where my mind is right now, obviously. But I just think red, white, and blue is very timeless. And I think batiks are timeless because they're not like certain prints. Certain prints I feel like can become dated, but I feel like red, white, and blue is pretty safe. So this is kind of my plan. So my intention is to do the stars in white so that they pop out. Now this is not, I just had like a cheap pack of color pencils. I have a really nice set somewhere, and I don't know where they are. So if somebody could tell me where they are, my daughter might have them. Maybe, I don't know. But my thought is this red and pink is really going to be like a red and a light red, not necessarily a pink. Kind of like the colors in Susan Aki's Summer Memories book is kind of the hues of what I'm thinking. So there will be 2 shades of blue, 2 shades of red, and then the white. And they won't necessarily be, you know, all the reds won't be this, like this red here will not be the same red that I use here. It'll be different. So it'll be semi-scrappy, but still be a little bit organized. But this is kind of, like I said, my thought for how I want to tackle that one. So again, don't really have a good collection of that, so I'm going to have to start collecting, but I can. These are the stars I'm talking about. I can go ahead and start making these stars. So I'm in no rush, you know, to just run out today and buy every piece of fabric that I need for this, because there's a lot of stars in there. So I can start on that, and it will be the start of a really nice project. Words. All right, now when I was talking about that last week, I did talk about a quilt that I want to do that I have looked at forever, and I have also bought, many years ago, I bought the paper pieces for this quilt. I cannot find them. Like I said, I have cleaned my sewing room out pretty good. They have not surfaced. So I have either put them in a very, very safe place. I didn't get rid of them. I know that I didn't, but I just don't know where they are at the moment. But this is the quilt. And this is a terrible picture in this book. And I'm not trying to like, this person is a genius that came up with this. These are just not my colors. So this is the quilt. This is the name. Most people just call it La Paz. I'm too country to say that big word, so that's what I will say. There is a Facebook group that you can get a lot of inspiration from for colors and whatnot for this. But I'll kind of show you. This is, you can kind of see a little bit of the process of putting it together. It's amazing, is all I can say. It is really, really amazing. Now this book is is this the first one? This might be the first one, I'm not sure. They have several of these books. There's probably, I think, 4 of these, and they have just tons of quilts in here. There's another one. Which again, if that's not your colors, you just have to use a little imagination for what they might look like. This is pretty, the stars. This is just draw dropping. If you just look at all those pieces, so pretty, so pretty. So that is my current semi-obsession with English paper piecing. So we'll see. I'm going to start with the Tula and see. I do have a color scheme for the La Paz that I saw somebody else that is posted in the group that I like, that I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards, but I'm not 100% yet. So we'll see how Tula's goes, and then we'll go from there. One more time I got to dig out. Okay. Sorry, my chair does not want to roll on this carpet. So as I was cleaning out, and this is another good reason to kind of clean your stuff out, which, you know, I like that they're doing this challenge for cleaning your room out because you find stuff, you know, that you had kind of forgotten about. So as I was cleaning up, even this morning, tucked between two patterns, I found these 2 blocks. This one is, I know that this uses the Creative Grids hexagon ruler. I have done a quilt with it. It is on my Instagram account. And I'll list those down in the description box. I have 2 accounts, one for quilting, one for cross stitch. This is on my quilting one. Probably one of the very first posts. There is not this block itself, but there is a hexagon quilt on there that uses the same ruler. This one I kind of did as a test, I remember, but I really like it with the black on it, so I may somewhere down the line in the future do something with the black and the hexie. I think black looks really good with batiks too, and I have a lot of batiks. This one was something that was released. There was something where they were releasing blocks once a month. I know that we were in our old house when I did this, because I remember our old dog was sitting underneath me when I was sewing it. I don't know why I remember that, but we're in the old house, so it's been at least 6 years, probably more, because it wasn't right at the end of us living there. But I am searching through patterns to see if I can find this particular pattern, because I do like it. I remember thinking that the other blocks in the quilt weren't necessarily my thing, but this block I really like, and I would like to do, I wouldn't mind having a whole quilt made out of this. Just with some sashing, you know, maybe each square was a different batik color. So maybe. All right, so now what I want to do for the last couple minutes is show you, I had talked about in the last video, I wanted to show you some patriotic quilt patterns. I also did, side note, said that I was maybe going to do a video about some pre-cuts, and I am going to do some pre-cut stuff in the next video. I just wanted to go ahead and do patriotic while it was kind of fresh on my mind and it was right here close, just in case any of these patterns might speak to you and you feel like you have to go out and buy them right away. If you're like me and I see something, I just need to buy it right then. All right. So the first one is a pattern that I bought several years back. We had gone on vacation with my brother-in-law and his family. We were in Ohio. We were going to go to Cedar Point, but the day we were going to go to Cedar Point, it rained. So we decided that would just be a hangout at the hotel room, at the hotel day, because the hotel had like a, you know, like a pool and everything in it. So I'm not a swimmer. Water is for bathing. It's not for swimming in for me. I don't get in the ocean. I don't get in swimming pools. I'm not that person. I'm just prissy. But so they all went to the pool. My husband and I found a quilt shop. I am so glad. I mean, we still went to the park the next day, so we didn't miss out on anything. But I'm so glad that happened, because the quilt shop we found was M&E Quilt Shop, Mabel and Ethel's in Sandusky, Ohio. If you have never been to that quilt shop and you have the opportunity, you need to go. Now, one of them is about to retire. The other, I can't remember which one is retiring. The other one is going to continue on with the shop. They are such fun ladies. They are so fun. Like, I was so excited when we were there, because they were actually in one of the Quilt Sampler magazines, and they had a copy and they signed it for me. And I got my picture made with them, and one of them gave me like rabbit ears, and my husband thought that was just the funniest thing. But they were just really, really sweet people. But they had this quilt hanging on the wall, and it was done in similar colors as this. And this is by Victoria Finley Wolf. If you don't follow her on social media, you should. She has lots of fun quilts. Fun. She's a fun lady. But as soon as I saw it, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this quilt pattern comes in 2 different sizes. They're not both in here. You have to buy separate ones for the sizes, if I'm not mistaken. This one completes at 80 by 80. So I bought it, and at the time I knew that it was beyond my capabilities, but I knew that someday I would feel confident enough to do this. And I ran across it again as I was cleaning out some stuff in here, and you guessed it, red, white, and blue is what this needs to be, which is what these fabrics are the start of. So I have it all kind of mapped out and scribbled on a piece of paper back here what I'm going to do, and this is one that I hope to start sooner rather than later. The next two, I really don't know if they're still available. I didn't look. I found them in my stash. I don't even know where I bought this one from, but you don't necessarily have to do, a giant quilt or a lap quilt if you want something patriotic in your living room. You could do just a little simple pillow and it would be fine. This is applique, and if you have a new technique that you want to try, whether it be applique, English paper piecing, hand stitching, whatever it is, just find a small project and do it. But I thought that was fun for 4th of July, just to have a little pillow. This pattern we bought in Pennsylvania at a quilt shop. My husband saw it and he was like, Laurel, that would be a great quilt. And I was like, but nobody in our family's in the military. But now they are. Which this is not really like geared towards Air Force, obviously. But I do like Because of the Brave. I love the name of it. And I like when I do it, I'm not going to do it with the soldier on it. I mean, if I did, I would find a silhouette of an airman and put on there for my daughter. But I think I'm just going to do the top, one of the top pieces. And then, if it needs something more, I can, border it up or put something else on it. But I may look to see if I can find an airman person silhouette to put on. I don't know. We'll see. But I thought that was cute. This is a Missouri Star pattern. I had printed this off, and I'm sure I showed this in a previous video. They had a sale. Their patterns were like $1.99 or whatever for downloads. This is Sawtooth Stars and Stripes. And that's not super complicated. It's just 2 blocks. Which, again, you could take any quilt and change the colors to red, white, and blue, and it's a patriotic quilt. You don't have to use the colors that are in the pattern. So you could take any 2 blocks. Any 2 blocks. If you like, a snail trail block and you like a scrappy strip block, you can take those 2 and make them red, white, and blue. Make one red, make one colors of blue, and have a beautiful quilt. This one, the pattern basket, Merry and Bright. Now, obviously, it's designed to be a Christmas pattern. When we went to a quilt show back in January, they had this done in red, white, and blue batiks, and it was stunning. So that would be a good one. This one is another lavender lime. So I must have bought those 2 together. I don't know where I was that sold these, but this one I really like that. And again, that's not super complicated. This is a fabric. This is not applique. So that would go fast. This one finishes at 70.5 by 78.5. So not giant. Fig Tree and Company, Stars and Stripes Forever. Now that one does have some, smaller pieces, but it's beautiful. This one finishes at 58 by 71. And do I want to make all these? Yes, I absolutely do. Will I? Probably not, but they're there if I want to. This one is Designs by Sarah J. Americana Whirl. I like that. Scrappy with the softer hues. Very pretty. This one finishes at 72 by 96. This we got again on a road trip. I think this was on our anniversary trip where we stopped at some quilt stores. These are companion patterns Red Rooster Quilts, 1 Star, One Nation. Here's the bigger version and the mini version. Because sometimes you need a big one and a small one. This one I will do one day. I don't know when that day will be, because again, it will require collecting some fabrics, but I love this. This is by Myra Barnes, Busy Hands Quilts. It's called Star Spangled. And I can't put it like straight because of the glare, but isn't that beautiful? You can do this in twin size or king size from this pattern. And I would use the deeper colors to do this one. Very nice. This one, I may have gotten this one at Stitch Party also. I'm not 100% sure. Hear ye, hear ye. I thought that was very different. The bell. This one, finished quilt size is 60 by 75. And you can see, I mean, I like a lap size to large lap size to twin. I don't do a lot of queen or king size because I normally display them. You know, I don't have 15 beds in my house to be able to put all these quilts on. So I kind of like that size range. This one is Let Freedom Ring. This is a row by row quilt by Primrose Cottage Quilts. This, maybe last year or the year before, somebody was doing a quilt along with this, and I wasn't able at the time. I had too much going on to be able to do it, but I did buy the pattern. So it's really cute. So you could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has 9 rows. So like if you bought this now and did a row a month, you could have it done and have time to, you know, get it quilted and bound and everything by next year. And then one last thing to show you. I know this has been like a crazy show and tell video, but I wanted to show you this book. I really enjoy Judy Martin quilts. She is a fantastic designer. Her quilts are intricate, but her designing makes it very not complicated to put these together. So she had this book, and I think this came out last year, 2022. Red, white, and blue star quilts. So obviously it's new, you can still get it. I actually saw a copy of this at Joann's this week when I was over there, Joann Fabrics. Now, if you can't find a red, white, and blue quilt in this book that you like, I don't know what to tell you. I just really don't. I wanted to show you if she did in this one. It's not in this one because it is all red, white, and blue, but if you have any of her books, I have another one that's a good example. I just don't know where it is, but her books, oh, hold on, yes I do. I'm sorry. Her books have all the quilts, and she does a really good job of showing you. Like, I am not prepared, I'm sorry. A really good job of showing you how you can change the color in the same quilt and make it look completely different. So I don't want to show you like patterns or anything, but that's all the same. That's the same quilt, just the colors are arranged differently. So in her books, like I said, she does a fantastic job of showing you the differences. So here's blue version, arranged one way. Here's purple version, arranged a different way. Same quilt. So I could sit here all day and show you like everything I like and every pattern, every book that I have, and you would be bored to death probably. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off there. My plans in quilting for the next 2 weeks. I'm determined to get swoon cut out so I can start piecing that together. Binding. I've got to get some of this binding done, so I'm going to work on that. I will, the possibility I might send another quilt out in the next 2 weeks to the quilter. I'm not exactly sure. So I may have another one to show you. The next one that I have lined up to go is my black and white one with the word print fabric that I did at quilt camp that I showed a couple of videos ago. So that one may or may not be quilted by next video. So again, if you are doing anything that I'm doing or have interest or anything, drop me a comment below. If you like what you saw, I would appreciate a like and a subscription if you are not currently subscribed. If you are, I really appreciate you coming back and spending some time with me every couple weeks. I hope you get lots of things done. Lots and lots and lots. Again, I have my cross stitch is on Instagram. I am a stitch nerd, all lowercase, no spaces. My quilting is on Instagram. I am a quilt nerd, all lowercase, no spacing. If you are in the area close to me, I'd love to know. Maybe, you know, we can meet and go shopping or something one day. I don't know. I am gonna try a new visit a new quilt shop today, or new to me quilt shop today. My daughter's coming for lunch, and we are going to go to a local quilt shop that I had known was there, but it's one of those that you weren't really sure how ooh-ah it was. But I had a couple friends that went and they were like, oh no, it's pretty nice. So we're gonna go check that out, and I'll give you a little update on that next video, let you know how that went. So until then, hope you get lots of stitching done, hope you get lots of quilting done, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.